You know, like I said, we'd started touring and playing festivals, and we'd be seeing different bands and the Wu-Tang and, you know, Chili Peppers, and so that rock element started coming back into it again. And then, yeah, I suppose by Fat of the Land, it was like, this is Prodigy, you know, bang, this is everything. So it's impossible to nail down a certain
asking what your favourite child is, I suppose, if you've been on that journey and every minute was as good as the last.
Yeah, oh mate, every bit of it, and it's still going really. Let's face it, I'm sitting here with a load of people, so yeah. You know, the buzz is still going, and yeah, it is. I mean, it's the same with the key thing. You know, bless him, he's gone and stuff, but he's going to be here as long as the planet's spinning. You know, someone somewhere's listening to him or looking at a picture of him, and you know, that's an achievement in itself. You know, so to kind of never die. You know, physical terms, you're gone, but you're here for as long as this planet's spinning, so all of us have managed to achieve that. I mean, the Guinness Book of Records, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah?
What for? The Millennium Edition. I used to get that every Christmas when I was a kid. You know,
what record did you
win it?
What record did you break?
We were the fastest selling dance band album in the world, and most number ones, 3 or 4 things we were in
No way. And
yeah.
it was the year 2000
Yeah,
edition?
the Millennium.
I probably got that somewhere. Nice, I should have brought you that to get signed. Just that something to pick up on from what you were saying there around the point at which you go from relative success, having met on a dance floor, and I'll ask you about that in a minute, and then the meteoric rise from there. Did you find comfort in the fact that you were kind of band of brothers and you all supported each other through that? Because that must have been a pretty mad, mind-blowing time.
Yeah, but we were just buzzing. All we wanted to do was get on stage, you know, and yeah, I don't think we just kind of went with the flow of it. I mean, we would never go anywhere for more than 3 weeks because we like being at home, we like doing normal things, normal food and stuff. And I mean, the Americans couldn't get their heads around it, you know. Yeah, you come for 3 months, do a tour of the States, play this stadium, that. No, we don't do that. 2 weeks we'll come for, 3 weeks at the most. But you won't make any money, we don't care. I'd rather be at home than stuck in America for 3 months, you know what I mean?
Was that always a thing for you, to stay rooted in home? Ultimately?
Yeah, man, it was really important, you know, and we never argued, ever. You know, there was always 4 of us, so, like, if Keith was a little shit, for example, the other 3 would stand up against him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was, mate, yes, it's amazing, really, the amount of time we spent together that we never...
That's it, isn't it? You look at a lot of acts that reached the point, or almost the point that you guys did, and they imploded or they exploded, or it often is a battle of, you know, personalities or artistic differences, as they like to say. Or the money divides, you know, people. So there's something really heartwarming about the fact that you didn't argue. You must have had tiffs. Little tiffs here and there as a band.
No, probably honestly, Keith was a pain in the arse because he was always late. So that was kind of the biggest thing, or you know, or me and him, to be fair. I was never late, but it'd be things like, you know, we'd land in Holland and be like, okay, yeah, you've got a gig tonight, we go and do some press, and it's like, where you going? Amsterdam's that way. No, we got to drive foot. No. Amsterdam's that way. We ain't fucking doing no interviews till we get some fucking weed. We're in fucking Holland, get me some fucking weed now, fucking, you know. So.
Ultimately, it sounds like you're always in search of something else, something better, something purer, higher.
Well, I don't think it was a search. I think he discovered it. That's what life's about, making good discoveries. And you know, you might think something's not for you, but until you try it, you know, you never know. But yeah, the Rave thing, like I say, it was kind of, if you didn't get into it straight away, you see all your mates doing it. And fuck that up to it. Look at them with their saucer eyes. I've been dancing in Sainsbury's car park all look the same, you know what I mean? But that was, again, it was a beautiful thing to discover that. And the fact that it was just pure dancing, no alcohol, and yeah, ecstasy. Yeah, but the thing was, you knew your audience. That's the difference between now and DJs now. Yeah, when, you know, 30 years ago, Slick Matt, Carl Cox, anyone, you knew your audience. You knew they were all high on ecstasy. You know, you can either play a banger and make them bring their eyebrows down, or you can play a piano with the word love, and they'll be clinging on to stuff gurning, you know what I mean? No, but you can control the waves of the energy, and that's why all of us lot that are still DJing still do it the best.
Because you're in sync with the audience way more than maybe a DJ that's jumping from genre to genre.
Well, I don't think it's about genre. I think, you know, we all were on the dance floor. And we knew that what it took to be entertained and have a good night, you know. And I think, you know, now DJs are like, what do you think of my snare drum? Snare drum? Who gives a fuck about your snare drum? No one's dancing, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got your priorities all wrong, you know. We were making shit on crap equipment like a W30. The Prodigy the first 2 albums were done on this synthesizer, W30. And it had 13 seconds of sampling time and a screen about, I don't know, 3.5 inches long by 2 inches with a little dot going across and numbers. It was all numbers, you know. And like the first 2 albums, Liam played every single sound that he heard, like the cymbals, like because he didn't know how to copy. So he'd make mistakes, and then it would make a cool groove. So everything was live, and I remember after we started gigging, I got one of the keyboards because we had 2 of them. So I used to take one home, and I was like, yeah, man, you know when you copy, how'd you do that? What do you mean? How'd you copy? What, you don't copy? No. You know when you truncate it, how'd you do that? You know, that's put it all in time automatically. You know, he just didn't do that. He was, even Fat the Land times, you know, Korg could give him a keyboard like, and I remember there's this magazine out there and there's this picture of him like this. with this keyboard, and it says, the headline, I find it really easy to use, and I remember him getting it, and I went round and I was like, oh, this is wicked, I'm going to get one of them. And he's like, yeah. And then I rang him, I said, yeah, I've got a call, that's wicked, man. Come round in a few days when you know how to use it and show him how to use it. But that was his genius. I go around there and he's got a Mac screen that's that deep, and a 40-inch Mac screen, and it's all white. And I'm fucking hell, man, that's blinding. Like when he's doing the music, every channel's the same colour. I'm like, why don't you make everything colours? How'd you do that?
There's a lot to be said about doing it that way, though. I rate that. I think there's artistry and craft in that, you know. I'm just conscious of time. We've got about 5-10 minutes left before we throw it out to the audience. I'm going to do some quick fire questions of you, just off the dome here. Favourite place, favourite country that you toured?
Australia.
Any particular reason? Weather or vibes or?
Weather, people. I can't say they're the best gigs. I can't say that about anything. But personally, I used to love going to Australia.
Favourite drum loop?
I'm not going to say the Amen breaks because it's been caned. I don't know. Let's say the one in Charlie, whatever that is.
Have you got one record that you hold up as maybe something that you listened to when you were younger, but that still has the same resonance with you now?
Fleetwood Mac, Rumours, or Pink Floyd. Any Pink Floyd, really.
Favourite shape of pasta? That's a joke. In terms of just going back to the book, are you happy with how it's been put together? It kind of feels like you've released that now?
Well, yeah, me and my sister done the whole thing, so it's exactly how I wanted it. And yeah, and then again, I got my wife done the illustrations in there because there were certain things with where I didn't have photos, and I kind of wanted to set a bit of a picture. Like, for example, the Dallas Hilltop story in the book, there was this old lady, and she was straight from the 60s, you know, and she was dressed up like a dog's dinner, like she was going to the Oscars or something every day, you know, and I didn't have no pictures of her, so I'd describe her to my wife, and she'd sort of do an illustration of it, you know, so yeah, I'm super happy with it. You know, it's kind of hard to believe that it's mine, if you know what I mean. I've done it. It's yeah, I just hope everyone enjoys it. I haven't heard any complaints yet.
That's good. Don't even think about it. We're going to throw it out to you guys. If James, if I could just get the house lights up a little bit, and if I can just ask you, we haven't got a roaming mic today, so we're going to just go with throw your hand in the air, just like you don't care, and then just
shout.
Express
Deaf.
Not express, that's the wrong word. Yeah, shout out your question if you can. Is that a gent at the back in the middle? Yes, go for it.
Me?
Yes, you.
How you doing, you alright?
All good.
Thank you. I think on behalf of everyone in the room, we're probably all about mid to late 40s, coming up on 50. Huge fucking influence.
Big assumption.
You know.
You're right.
Listen, I speak on behalf of me and my boys, huge influence, you know, and I'm sure you realise that. I think about, in particular, we were just that age where we were coming through the mid-80s, you know, we're coming off the back of learning to dance to Michael Jackson in front of the TV in 1985 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's coming into the late 80s, early 90s, we're watching our sisters come home wrecked off the roads on disco biscuits and whatever. And all of a sudden, you guys are on the TV, and I'm watching you dance. And I'm thinking, shit, man, I want to fucking dance like this. How did you learn how to do that? Where did you learn how to do that? Was that just out there, being on the scene, or was it?
Like I said, I'd always been into dancing, and I think we used to go and watch Giles Peterson down in his club in Southend, and it was at the time when sort of Public Enemy and hip-hop just started coming out, sort of 87, 88. But they still used to play all the Rare Groove and the James Brown stuff, so I always had this slidey feet thing because of James Brown and the funky stuff. And then obviously sort of a bit of Running Man kind of vibe with hip-hop. And then I took ecstasy and it all went. No, I mean, I still get a bit embarrassed about it, to be honest, because I don't think of myself as a dancer in terms of, you know, people go to college and study the arts and things like that. I just get up there and rock, you know. And the same with Keith, you never knew what size the stage was going to be, or so you could never kind of work anything out of routine. But I think the fact that I'm long and stringy and gangly makes it, exaggerates it as well, you know what I mean?
So, you know, like the music, like that collision of so many different influences, if it felt right, if it worked, then that's what you went with.
Yeah, it was just, like I say, capturing the energy. And it was the same, I mean, for all of us, if, you know, there was, before that, the rave scene, there were people who would go out, drink or whatever, stand in the corner because they weren't confident or comfortable, but it didn't matter what you'd done, you just had to have a good time. And I think, you know, the freedom that it put in people for confidence of being able to dance if you didn't feel you could dance, it didn't matter, nothing mattered at that time. All that mattered was having a good time. And yeah, you know, I was always sport Billy and stuff, so I got balance and stuff like that. But yeah, it does embarrass me a bit, really, because we've all got 2 arms and 2 legs. There's only certain things you can do with them, you know.
And you just thinking about, in prep for tonight, I was listening to the debut in Jilted and I was trying to recapture a lot of the feeling that I felt when I first listened to it. When the Horns of Jericho come in and then you get that rumble, and then thinking about like my first time hearing the aim and break or hearing loops and breaks on jungle tracks, and then the bass coming in and feeling it. I'm sure that people get that with music genres now, but it was something really visceral and primal about it. And you describing it as conducting yourself. Obviously, a fat Mitzi helps with that in terms of you're in, you know, dropping your inhibitions and your and feeling. But there's something about the music on those first 2 albums. Fat of the Land for me felt a bit more like it was a different vibe, but maybe it was the rawness of those first 2 as you emerged. But I can understand that. I can understand how you felt the music. How it's like people have synesthesia where they can see colours for music, but it's...
Yeah, when you got the first sort of album obviously was just innocent, raw rave scene. By the time Fat and Land come out, you know, we were like, okay, we need something slower that rocks, we need something higher up that's a bit more feel-good factor, you know. So as the time went on, you knew what you needed to fill the gaps in the set to change.
Yeah, is that partly to do with maturing of the sound anyway, or the influences?
Well, yeah, the rave scene, with the dance music thing had gone by '94 for us. Maybe, yeah, definitely by '94, '95. You know, the dark side and drum and bass, jungle coming in, all got moody. Shit, drugs, crime, you know, and...
A lot of egos and a lot of...
Well, then it was segregated because you know, then you had house and you had garage and techno, and it was never the same ever after that, you know. But for us, that kind of stopped quite early because, you know, we were playing parties in Germany and it was just all techno and stuff, you know, and it didn't matter where we went, we ended up fitting in, you know, and it was kind of, okay, we sort of pretty realised, I suppose, that we were unique, and the fact that we could do what we wanted. We didn't have to fit into any...
There's a real talent to being able to be musical chameleons, but also lead from the front as well. Like, you brought all of those different influences in, and just hearing some of the descriptions about your influences and Liam's and the rest of the guys, but also to be able to lead, because you're soaking all these things up like a sponge and you're pushing them back into the, you know, into shows or into the studio or to the writing process, and then you're also needing to innovate and originate and be, you know, leaders in that as well.
No, because I think if you start thinking about it, it becomes harder to do.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, you do have people after interviews say, oh, what style are you? So, well, we're just Prodigy. You tell us something else that's constantly like us, and that's what we are. And they're like, well, there ain't anything else. Aha.
Interview over.
But another thing, it's a lot of people, if you said about the bass line on the Horns of Jericho and stuff, but if you listen to, let's just pick the Fat of the Lamb for example, if anyone here can sort of pick out more than one bass line on a track of Liam's, then they're doing pretty well.
I watched a video once about one of the breakdowns of the tracks on Fat of the Lamb. I can't remember which one it is, and the complexity of the way that the song was written is just like, it's cosmic, man. Cosmic.
Yeah, he wasn't into sub bass. You know, that's why it appealed to so many people as well, because we always went at it like rock music, about dynamics, you know, and and I'm like, oh man, I'll come back tomorrow. And because I'll be like, how are you spending so long on that? Because you might start the tune and then suddenly you get a bass line and the bass drum don't work anymore. So I could never understand it. But his thing was about 80 hertz, a frequency that kind of you can feel impacting you in the chest.
Is it like the rumble, the
Yeah, it's you can feel it, you know. Whereas sub, once you got too much sub bass, you can't get aggression because it's too warm. So you can't get that mid-range kind of almost like a guitar. Yeah. So you can't get angry with sub bass enough, you know. So yeah, I mean, tell me the bass line of Outer Space, tell me the bass line of Start the Dance. You know, the actual sub is very hard to find. And I remember I'd done a remix of Hot Ride for Liam, and like, so where'd you get that bass line? I was like, out of your song, out the parts, did you? And like, yeah. You know, and there's like, I'd hear this guitar part, and it had this little pattern, and it was like, man, there's actually bass on that if I EQ it, you know. But yeah, he was so unique for that, and that was his most important thing, that it hit you in the chest rather than warmed you up nicely, you
know. Questions from the audience? We've got one at the front, and then I'll take in the middle. Go for it.
Yeah, he was always, he would listen. He didn't have to touch nothing, to be honest with you, but for example, One Love, the track One Love, I remember going round there and he's going, yeah, what do you think of this, man? I was like, yeah, it's wicked. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to swap it for a mixer with the record, the music shop. I said, you can't do that. I said, we ain't got, at the time, we didn't have anything really that had a 4/4 drum, and I was like, no, I can dance to that. You can't give it away, it's too good, you know? So, yeah, and you know, we would always have sections like, for example, if you heard the first Start the Dance or the first Smack My Bitch Up, you know, we'd do Start the Dance and I'd be like, fucking hell, we're going to go and have a drink in a minute, and the breakdown's been so long, I don't know what to do. So afterwards, man, you need to cut the part of that out so that it comes back in quicker. So we were more the vibe of it, where you could share how it worked on the dance floor, or the energy, you know. And the same again with Keith, you know, he was such a I don't know, a passionate he had an energy that was just so unique. So, you know, if he went in the studio, he'd be like, oh man, that needs to be, you know, and so yeah, Liam was he'd always listen, you know, but he didn't have to touch nothing, really. You can only help him with an arrangement, that was it. I hope that helps.
I love the notion of like he put it through a feel and dance test almost by running it past you guys. If you don't feel it, if you can't kind of connect with it on a physical or maybe beyond that level, it's not getting through.
Well, we tested everything in the live show, so you could tell from the response if people liked it or not. Yeah, that's good. Like, and for us, every single gig, we'd go to a sound check and it'd be like, okay, I've put these beats together, and I've got this 303 pattern, and I've got these strings, and so at the sound check, he'd just start jamming with all these samples, and just, fucking hell, that rocks. We could do that tonight, you know, and then, or we'd do it in the middle of the show. Don't fucking stop, don't fucking stop. And he'd just be rocking. And at the end, that tune, what was that fucking thing you done in the middle of, between smack and a bitch, oh yeah, and then beats, that's a tune, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then rock and roll, or he'd go off and make a tune out of the parts. So you could just see the influence.
It's very democratic and very like, that whole notion that you're all in sync with each other.
Well man, it kept it fresh for us as well, because we never knew what he was going to do. It was always the live sessions in it, you know, between the tracks that you knew you were going to play. There was these raw bits that we'd never heard before that were made up on the spot. So for us, it was like, fuck yes, you know what I mean? We got a buzz out of being up there as well for that element, because it was fresh, you know.
And almost unpredictable at some points.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes you'd hear some of the stuff, the beats and samples he brought at soundcheck, but he did always play live stuff, and you know, what was that you were playing? I don't know what you're talking about. You'd lose it, you'd never hear it again.
Nice impression. A question in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about Charlie, because I heard that it's on the Eclipse before it came out as a big hit. I was just wondering, do you guys know it's going to blow up and be that sort of commercial success that it became?
No, I mean, again, that was a druggy thing. Everyone used to go home after the club, you know, you'd have a Hitman and Her or some crap like that on the TV, and the adverts used to come on, so everyone would just be off their nut, and that advert used to come on every week. And it was just one of those, you know, druggy, well, that does you nothing sort of thing. So for us, it was, you know, we had no idea what was going to happen. It was just like something to play at a rave when people are high that it kind of does their head in a bit. So
it became a hit.
and to be fair, you know, Your Love was the strongest track on the EP. Pandemonium was absolutely awesome as well. And we were playing 10,000 people Friday night, 10,000 people Saturday night, you know, every week and stuff. So yeah, it went in at number 3 and it sold 25,000. So it was nothing compared to the people we were playing in front of over 2 or 3 months since we started putting it into the set. And yeah, we never ever thought about anything commercial. And it all got blown out of proportion when the Mixmac done the cover with Liam with the gun on his head, Did I Kill the Rave scene and that. And everyone started doing shit, didn't they? Sesame Street and but that's what happens when you're original. People jump on the bandwagon and try and recreate it, and it doesn't matter if you're anything creative or anything in life, man. Be inspired by people, but if you're trying to copy something, you're always one step behind. You know, and I used to be writing music with this guy in Germany, and I'd say, what do you think of this beat? Or, why are you using a snare drum? What are you talking about? Everyone's using claps right now. And I'll be like, well, fucking all the more reason not to use one then, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Then 2 months later, why are you using a clap in this song? You know, yeah, honestly, it's like that. And if you're trying to, you know, be inspired, because that's life. Life inspires you. See that colour, use it, but don't try and be that artist, because we're all individuals and original, and you're never going to be the same, catch up with someone if you're trying to copy it. You're always behind. It's already been done. So, you know, take inspiration, but
mean, easy for you to say as part of some absolute original dons, but you know, popular culture, it does repeat itself, and people borrow, you know, from different points. But the sentiment is there, and it gets harder and harder, particularly with a lot of the software and the ease that people make tracks with these days. So I think there's a lesson in there that you should be reaching for the really hard, you know, the difficult ways of writing music or finding inspirations, because that's where the gold comes. That's where you find those pearls.
Man, everyone's unique, you know, and you still, I mean, let's take for example Skrillex come along. You know, he changed the whole world of music as well, and you know, Amel and the Sniffers, the Sleaford Mods. You know, the Sleaford Mods are just absolutely amazing. They represent punk, they represent dance, they're underground, they're honest, he swears, he talks about real life, you know, and they've come along, you know, they didn't copy anyone, they're inspired by stuff, you can hear that, but every one of us is unique, and, you know, I still write music, but it will never touch Prodigy, it will never get that acceptance or be as good as that, but I'm proud of it because it's come from me and it's my expression, but I couldn't copy Prodigy even if I wanted to, you know, so I think aiming for the highest thing is sometimes a burden. Just be yourself, man. If something's good, it's good. And it has to get discovered. We all need a bit of luck. You know, our timing come along. You had Shades of Rhythm, you had Enjoy, you had Adamski, you had all these other PAs that we used to follow around, you know, but the timing of us and the fact that, you know, everyone could feel like they were the person up on the stage because we were just ravers, you know, that the timing and everything is so important.
It's very hard to, it's in fact impossible to manufacture all of those pieces landing.
Yeah, it's impossible, you know, and you can only be disappointed if you, I don't know, it's like the boy bands thing. I actually saw a post something yesterday about there's some show about all the boy bands, how they all got shafted and stuff, you know, and bless them. It's sad, that's how sad it is, you know. Wannabes kind of don't normally get where they want to be. Yeah, it's a kind of life's natural flow. Hard work gets you everywhere, and that was we were so committed to that.
The graft counts.
Oh mate, it come before girlfriends, it come before anything. We didn't do drugs, we stopped doing drugs after, I don't know, the third or fourth gig. You never got high on stage because that was the best drug in the world. Nothing could replace that, and anything confused it or fuzzed it up, it killed your buzz, you know. So, yeah, but we didn't have aspirations apart from playing at the parties we used to be at, you know. So, yeah, I'm not going to say don't try nothing, guys. Strive to be the best you can, you know. Don't try to be as good as everyone else.
We'll take one last quick question. At the back, lights up. Yeah, go for it.
I remember as a kid going down the ramp in Birmingham to Tempest Records.
Sorry, speak up a bit. I'm deaf as a gatepost.
I remember as a kid walking down the ramp in Birmingham, Tempest Records, Don Christie's, looking for records, and obviously came across XL Recordings and the Prodigy, so big thank you to you. If you could go back and be in a different group with XL Recordings, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's like, essentially if you could go back and do it all again broadly, but with another group.
Yeah. With another group, who would I be with?
Would you be Stevie Nicks? Is what he's asking.
Man, if I had to pick another thing off of XL, I suppose I'd say the White Stripes was probably the next best thing that I've heard on there. Yeah, no, I mean, again, Liam handed it to them on a plate, really. When the first time we went to XL, their office was about, literally from where the edge of this stall is, that big, and there's like 4 desks in there. You know, we go in there and Nick Hawks and that'd be like, so I think you guys maybe if you got a bit of a routine together. And me and Keith are looking at each other and you're not the man to tell us how to dance, basically. Yeah, I'm not going to diss XL because they were kind of cool, but once we sort of helped make them, there was a few cheesy things on there and stuff, and a couple of the guys got a bit above their station and stuff, but man, that's life. But yeah, I know they signed the White Stripes, so that for me were the next best thing that they ever put out.
Interestingly, that they were responsible for the independent end of the label market through Adele. Through Adele's sales, absolutely catapulted them in. And I think in the last couple of years, Excel were responsible for a quarter of all of the record sales as an independent, but through Adele. So you know, labels come and go through artists, but obviously there's relationships come and go with different labels, and you know, you saw value in it at some point, and
oh man, they saw value in us. At the end of the day, literally the last, we used to go to the Essex Barners Club in Braintree, and that's where we all met. And literally the last night of it, Mr. C was a resident from the Shaman and stuff, and Liam comes walking in. This was like, I don't know, I suppose 3 or 4 months after we decided to start the band, and he comes walking in with a bit of vinyl. So yeah, I got the first EP. Me and Keith were like, what? Yeah, I went up to Excel, signed a deal a couple of months ago, and this is the first record. We never even knew about this. And he said, yeah, I brought it down to get Mr. C to play it. So yeah, the whole record industry thing in the deal at that time, if you got a deal, it was like, oh man, this is so amazing and that, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, whatever you say about Excel, it probably wouldn't have been there if it weren't for us. So, you know, we kicked that off, and Beggars Banquet, the guys up there, they put effort and I suppose money behind us, you know. I mean, we had a situation, Liam done one tune, yeah, you sampled our beat and we want something for it. We want money, or you've got to do a remix for our next track. So Liam's like, yeah, he said, yeah, I did lift it off their record, he said, but I know it's not theirs.
of course, coming with that kind of approach is always going to get you back up as well.
Well, we were in America touring, and oh god, I feel so bad, I can't remember his name. The head of Beggars Banquet comes walking into the change room. All right, boys, we never knew you were coming out. It's like, yeah, I had a bit of business to do. I've just been and bought that beat that you use. That's the Incredible Bongo Band.
Patchy.
So, yeah, so I've just come in and I've just bought all the rights to all their music.
What?
So we can, when we get home, we're going to write to the General Knights to say you sampled our beat.
Only one of the most sampled beats in history as well.
So
that's a bare-faced cheat, that is.
No, but I mean, I'm not being funny, and bless him, you know, it's nothing for me, but literally they piped up, our guy bought the music, then sued them for using the beat. That same week, George Lucas got in touch with him and said, you can't use the name Jedi Knights. Keep your fucking nose out, that's all I can say.
Back to Brick Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my absolute pleasure. I hope I speak on behalf of you all here. You're definitely one of the best people I've ever spoken to on stage.
Oh man, listen, I am happy to take a couple more questions if everyone wants.
Yeah? Okay, yeah. Let's go. I'm going to come back to you in a sec.
Listen, I've smoked so much weed that if you see me, I'll be blowing out my arse after 30 seconds. Leaving? No, none at all. They didn't need me, they didn't want me. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was like, you know, literally, having been there from the start and the evolution of it all, the reason was we'd done that because we were in Europe more, so the 4/4 beat, you know, so everything kind of, we'd say, oh man, we need some 4/4. So we always evolved, and then Firestarter obviously come out, and Breathe, and it was like, okay, priority was putting vocals on. So I was left with all the old stuff, which I was already sick of, you know, and couldn't dance to it another way if you paid me, you know what I mean? So it was just like, man, we're going to have a year off, and it's like, man, well, there's no point in me hanging around anymore. You know, and it's like, yeah, cool, you know, because it was like, what are you going to do? Do you want to learn an instrument? Do you want to do this? And I suppose I'm probably, I don't know about Maxim, he's always got surprises, but I was probably the best singer out of us. You know, if it would have been a boy band sort of scenario, if I was like, oh. You know, so it was just like a natural evolution. It didn't need me. You know, I think you could see what was missing when I went, in terms of the breaking the dynamics again of the show, and you know. So I think if it's some buts, but if it carried on being more electronic and ravey, then it wouldn't have happened. But it didn't need me. I could see that from the evolution. I started to feel like a spare part, you know, and yeah, it's all totally cool, you know.
Thank you. I've always wanted to ask you that.
No, thank you. Quick question at the front then. Oh.
About the land in a bit of a... So, one, can you explain more about that? And also, what would be your ecstasy part that then the best bit of that build-up?
Well, I think with Fat the Land, it was the best, to me, it probably was the strongest album out of all of them, you know, to take us everywhere around the world. But no, the only downer about it was the fact that we would work to death. You know, we'd end up, and like I said, we never, well, I can't say we never got exploited in terms of, but we were in control of everything. If they say, oh, you got a gig in Switzerland on Friday, yeah. You got a gig in Canada on the Saturday, yeah. Oh, now there's a really good offer for a gig in France on the Sunday. Yeah, all right, we'll do it, you know. How good an offer? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Like that. And then, you know, that'd come round and it'd be, there's no flights to France from Canada, you've got to hire a plane. You've got to hire 2 planes because the sound crew need to take, then they'd be like, so, well, it costs us money to do that one. Yeah, but you got your commission though, didn't you? Yeah. So that amazingly priced gig, we hired 2 aeroplanes, you know, so it got to that stage where it was kind of just too much. I think there was one year we'd done something like 70 odd gigs and there was only 1 in England, you know, and we'd done one period with Fat the Land. In 3 months we stayed in 70 odd hotels and it was the equivalent of flying the circumference of the world 3 times. You know?
Thinking about that thing about you being rooted at home and being on the road for so much, it must have been a...
Yeah, and it was just too much, you know. That was the only... It made us want to stop and have a break from it. It drained us all, you know, so that's the only negative, Oh, God. I think there's a couple of kind of the Oasis moments, really, I suppose. Glastonbury '95, when we played there, and we were on the same time as Oasis, and I suppose there must have been about 20,000 people in front of us or whatever, and we kicked off, and within 10 minutes it was like a river of people, like, and then by the end of it we had about 60,000 that had just left their stage and come to us.
You wouldn't think about going back on tour to coincide with the Oasis dates? All of you?
Joking. I'd had enough of that a long time ago. But yeah, that one and the Nebworth with Oasis, that was pretty awesome because no one knew we were playing. You know, we had to get on site and drop on the floor of the car and dark windows so no one could see us. Don't go out there until, you know. And so when you walk out in front of like 80,000 people and you hear a gasp, it's from 80,000 people at the same time, it's pretty mad, really. Moscow, when we played in Red Square, there was like 200,000 people there. You just couldn't see the floor in any direction. They just went down every single building and stuff like that. But Brixton Academy, that was our home, man. You know, we smashed that place. It didn't matter. It was always the last place on the tour, and it didn't matter how battered you were, how knackered you were. For that place, you just found something from somewhere, and yeah, I could never. Honestly, I couldn't put one moment doing Vivienne Westwood fashion show when we played, when all the models were doing her thing. That was pretty mad. So many, honestly, everything was just amazing. That's what I said. I suppose you try and share a bit of it within a book because, you know, if you could bottle that feeling, you'd be the richest person in the world, you know.
Leroy, we're going to have to wrap it up here because we've got quite a lot of signings to get through.
No problem.
I am so grateful for you giving up your time and being here with us, and I'd like to thank everybody in this room. I've felt a genuinely brilliant person to speak to. You're sitting on some absolute gold. There's loads in the book, both visual and words. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Ladies and gents, Leeroy Thornhill.